Oh, dang, I'm recording? Oh, man, I didn't even know. I started trying to get this loan application. My car blew up and I need another car. All right. So anyway, here's what we need to this is what we need to think about. We need to ask ourselves two questions when we're looking at all this evidence. Is the evidence baseless? And the second one, is there enough evidence? Sidney Powell comes out with these statements, and we've all been sitting here going, okay, Sidney, okay. Some people call her crazy. Some say she's delusional. I support her, and I always have, and I believe her. She's too smart of a person to put herself out there like that without any data. And so what we're going to do is look at the lawsuit and look at the evidence that she's presenting. All right? All right. So this is the one she filed in Georgia. We see at the top in the United States Northern District of Georgia, Atlanta Division, and we see, all right, and we see citizens and voters. These are the plaintiffs. Now, there's a difference between this lawsuit and the other ones was the other ones had the lawyer's name, and because the others had the lawyer's name. See, this one is the actual people. You see, you have citizens, voters, and Republican elector nominees. So these people, they have a stake in this lawsuit. The other ones weren't found any basis and burden of proof because if they just had the lawyers' names on it, there was no stake in that state. So they're filing the plaintiffs are filing against the Republican Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, and the members of the Georgia Election Board. So that is it. And the complaint is for declaratory, emergency, and permanent injunctive relief. Injunction. It's a junction. It's an injunction. So they're asking for we need to move fast. We need to act fast on this. So we need to get this done today. Sydney right here, she points out the definition, the action as a civil action, the definition of what burden of proof is. So what we're looking at is what Sydney put in the actual lawsuit as a definition, as a civil action. The plaintiff's burden of proof is a preponderance of the evidence to show, as the Georgia Supreme Court has made it clear, that the preponderance of the evidence is the standard. This is the standard of what the preponderance of evidence is. This from the Cornell repository. And it says preponderance of the evidence is one type of evidentiary standard used in the burden of proof analysis. Upon the preponderance standard, the burden of proof is met when the party with the burden convinces the fact finder. The party would be Sydney, and the fact finder convinces the fact finder that there is a greater than 50% chance that the claim is true. So this is the burden of proof in a civil trial. So what we have here is, notwithstanding declarative application of statutes, the constitutional authority for the Georgia legislature's action on March 6th, the Secretary of State of the state of Georgia, Secretary Raffensperger, and the State Election Board, who administered the state elections, the administrators, entered into a compromise and settlement agreement and release the litigation settlement. So this is something that was done before the election, because they already been in and out of court with these guys, and they went in there with the Democratic Party of Georgia, the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, and the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, collectively the Democrat Party agencies, setting forth different standards to be followed by the clerks and registrars in processing absentee ballots. Okay, so anyway, they changed the law. So Sydney's saying they can't change the law. You can't change it, and they can't do that. But they did. As set forth by the whistleblower. This is the guy that saw it work, the military guy in Venezuela. And we had already been told this, and we were going, right. So, but this goes over, what he said in his statement. Chavez was most insistent that Smartmatic designed the system in a way that the system could change the vote of each voter without being detected. Specifically, video from the State Farm Arena in Fulton County shows that on November 3rd, after polls closed, election workers falsely claimed a water leak required the facility to close. Now, if you heard about the water leak, so the water leak was actually just an overflowing toilet in another building. And so they said, water leak, everybody leave. So they kicked everybody out at about 10 p.m. However, several workers remained unsupervised, unchallenged, working at the computers for voting tabulation machines until 1 a.m. Now, is this proof? Is it suspicious? Yes, it's very suspicious. Is it evidence? I don't think so. It does cast suspicion on the people that were running it. This reason, the plaintiff asked the court to enter a judgment in their favor and provide the following things. So these are their asks. This is what they're asking. To decertify the election results, and order Governor Kemp keep Governor Kemp from transmitting the current certified election results. Don't transmit it. And to certify the election for Donald Trump, which, that's asking a lot. But, start high. It's good. Aim high, Sydney. This is going to the District of Michigan. Now, as you can see, there's a missing letter here, and here we don't have a space, but, it's not the end of the world, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look as professional as it could. And design of the features of Dominion software do not permit a simple audit to reveal miscalculation, redistribution, or deletion of votes. All right, it does not include a protected real-time audit log. What? It don't have a real-time audit log. And it allows an authorized user the opportunity to arbitrarily add, modify, remove, or log entries, cause the machine to log election events that do not reflect actual voting. So, in that case, it doesn't reflect the will of the people. It decided to award Dominion a $25 million 10-year contract led by Kelly Garrett, former deputy director of Michigan Democrat Party, and then certifying Dominion software. Michigan officials disregarded all the concerns that caused Dominion software to be rejected by the Texas board. An industry expert, Dr. Andrew Appeal, Princeton professor of computer science. So now we have our first real guy here that's going to, we have a name. So the name is Dr. Andrew Appel. He's a Princeton professor. And he says he figured out how to make a slightly different computer program that just before the polls were closed, switched some of the votes around, and he could do it in 7 minutes. Here's the next guy. Dr. Russell James, plaintiff's expert witness, ready to go, Russell James Ramsland, Jr. Ramsland affidavit has concluded that Dominion alone is responsible for the injection or fabrication of 289,866 illegal votes in Michigan. That must be discarded. This is almost twice the number of Mr. Biden's purported lead. Michigan, come on, Michigan. You're going to have to change that. In addition to the facts, the above fact witnesses, this complaint presents expert witness testimony demonstrating that several 100,000 illegal, ineligible, duplicate, or purely fictitious votes must be thrown out. A report from Russell Ramsland Jr. showing the physical impossibility of nearly 385,000 votes injected by 4 precincts township on November 4th that resulted in the counting of nearly 290,000 more ballots processed than available capacity. In other words, the machine can't do it that fast. It's an impossibility, physically impossible for that many votes to be processed. 60,000 absentee ballots listed as unreturned by voters either never requested them or that requested return ballots. A report from Dr. Eric Quinnell analyzing the anomalous turnout figures in Wayne and Oakland counties showing Biden gained nearly 100% or frequently more than 100% of all new voters in certain townships precincts over 2016, thus indicated that nearly 87,000 anomalous and likely fraudulent votes from these precincts. So we have two reputable Dr. William Briggs, and that's a report from Dr. Eric Quinnell. Doctor, okay, doctor, good to see you. Thank you, doctor. Welcome, doctor. Doctor. As explained and demonstrated in the accompanying redacted declaration of a former electronic intelligence analyst under 305 military intelligence with experience gathering SAM missiles. Now this is Sydney. This is Sydney talking, okay? Analyst, intelligence officer, intelligence with experience gathering SAM and system electronic intelligences. The Dominion software was accessed by agents acting on behalf of China and Iran in order to monitor and manipulate elections, including the most recent U.S. general election in 2020. Now, this is the first time that she's actually saying this election was messed up. She's always been referring to the one 10 years ago with General Hugo Chavez. Expert explains that the U.S. intelligence services, the expert Navid Kashavareznia explains U.S. intelligence services Dominion software is vulnerable to data manipulation by unauthorized means and permitted election data to be altered in a battleground states. He concludes that hundreds of thousands of votes that were cast for President Trump in 2020 general election were transferred to former Vice President Biden. Here's a look at all of the complaints filed. Not all of them, but I guess filed by the plaintiffs against all defendants with jury demand. Okay, so we have a lot of documents here. There's a lot of PDFs, and you can go and download this stuff yourself. You don't need me to do it, all right? I am an adult of sound mind. All statements in this declaration are based on my personal knowledge and are true and correct. I am making this statement voluntarily on my own initiative. I have not been promised, nor do I expect to receive anything in exchange for my testimony and giving this statement. I have no expectation. Okay, and then supported the... I have not supported any candidate for office in the United States, so I'm not legally permitted. I am not legally permitted to vote in the United States and have never attempted to vote in the United States. So he doesn't vote. He hasn't never done. So I'm okay. Anyway, I want to alert the public and let the world know the truth about the corruption, manipulation, and lies being committed by a conspiracy of people and companies intent upon betraying the honest people of the United States and their legally constituted institutions and fundamental rights. And you know what I noticed out of this is the honest people of the United States. You see, the rest of the world believes the United States is honest people, that we care about them, and we do. This type of illegal activity and fraud just undermines what the United States stands for: freedom, democracy. And so now we have a situation where communists are trying to steal our country. It goes deep. This isn't just a couple of people. This is huge. It involves countries, companies, all kinds of people. And because this guy says that the honest people of the United States are being betrayed, and he's letting us know. So if you don't believe this, you need to wake up. Our legally constituted institutions and fundamental rights as citizens are trying to be stolen from us. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy. All right, this just talks about the complexities of the U.S. elections. Usually requires computer count ballots, but computers can be hacked. So this just talks about the integrity of hackers, or the integrity of elections, and that ballots, hand-done ballots, is the best way to do it, and then count them and guard them. But there were so many, we put in computers later just to count them. But now those computers have been modified. Ready, set, go. This guy says, he's the other guy, and he says he's age 21, no under legal disability, which would prevent me from giving this declaration. He is an electronic intelligence analyst under the 305th Military Intelligence, experience gathering SAM missile electronic intelligence. I have extensive experience as a white hat hacker, which I've never heard of, but sounds pretty impressive, used by some of the top election specialists in the world. The methodologies I have employed represent industry standard cyber operation toolkits for digital forensic, and which are commonly used to certify connections between servers, which is what we needed to know, right? Network nodes and other digital properties. I'm a U.S. citizen. So then he says down here he uses Spiderfoot and RobTechs are industry standard digital forensic tools for evaluation. And these are the tools that he used. Now, this is some of the stuff that he put together. This is a lot of information here. You have servers, you have a group of nodes. It looks like a pattern. It could have been the connections of different servers around the world. This is it, folks. This is the one we've been waiting for, the mother of all bombs. Names of them. There is a lot of information here, and this is the kind of stuff we were looking for, right? So I think you can go to this site right here and call these up. I'm definitely going to do it. And so I hope you do too. Moving on, because we're almost done. In my professional opinion, presents some magorous evidence. Dominion voter system and Edison research have been accessible and were certainly compromised by rogue actors such as Iran and China. By using servers and employees connected with rogue actors and hostile foreign influences, combined with numerous easily discoverable leaked credentials, this represents a complete failure of their duty to provide basic cybersecurity. Didn't Trump just fire that guy? He needed to be fired. Navid, 59 years old, resident of Temecula, California, for 1 year, previously resided in Washington Metropolitan for nearly 40 years. Personal knowledge contents of this declaration, and if called as a witness, I could and would testify completely as to their truth. I have a bachelor's degree in electronic computer engineering, a master's degree in electronic and computer engineering from George Mason University, a PhD degree for management of engineering and technology from Cal Southern University, and a doctoral degree in education from Georgia Washington University. I have advanced training from Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, Central CIA, National Security Agency, NSA, DHS Office of Intelligence and Analysis. Intelligence and Analysis, A&I, I&A. And Massachusetts Institute of, whoa, my gosh, he went to MIT. Oh, this guy. He's like, this is the guy. This is the guy you want to get advice from, right? You want to hear what this guy has to say. I'm employed by a large defense contractor, chief cybersecurity engineer. They should have made this guy in charge of the election. And a subject matter expert in cybersecurity during my career. I have conducted analysis, 35 years, okay. All right, counterintelligence. He did cyber attack pattern analysis, mathematical modeling. He did security counterintelligence linked to F-15 operators or FIS operators, including China, Iran, North Korea, and Russia. I have worked as a consultant and subject matter expert supporting the Department of Defense, FBI, U.S. intelligence community, United States intelligence community agencies such as DIA, CIA, NSA, NGA, and the DHS, INAs, supporting counterintelligence, including supporting law enforcement investigations. That's a lot of stuff, man. That's a lot of stuff. That is a lot of stuff. Yeah, we want this guy. We want this guy to tell us what he thinks, right? Now, let's see what Navid has concluded. I conclude that a combination of lost cryptographic key contained on stolen USB memory cards, which happened They're missing about 28 of them. Serious exploitable system, software vulnerabilities and operating system, backdoor, DVS, SCIDL, SOE, software, e-clarity, and systematic created the perfect environment to commit widespread fraud in all states where these systems are installed. So those people that said, whoa, Sydney shouldn't have said all states where this system was used. My analysis of the 2020 election from New York Times data shows statistical anomalies across the battleground states' votes. These failures are widespread, systematic, and sufficient invalidate vote counts. That's what we're looking for. I conclude with high confidence that the election 2020 data were altered in the battleground states, resulting in hundreds of thousands of votes that were cast for President Trump to be transferred to Vice President Biden. These alterations were the result of systematic, widespread, exploitable vulnerabilities in DVS, SCIDL, SOE software, and Smartmatic systems that enabled operators to achieve the desired result. In my view, the evidence is overwhelming and incontrovertible. You see, the rest of the world believes the United States is honest people, that we care about them, and we do. This type of illegal activity and fraud just undermines what the United States stands for: freedom, democracy. And so now we have a situation where communists are trying to steal our country. It goes deep. This isn't just a couple of people. This is huge. It involves countries, companies, all kinds of people. And because this guy says that the honest people of the United States are being betrayed, and he's letting us know. So if you don't believe this, you need to wake up.